Okay, we had a little situation right there, but we got the situation situated, and we're situation free. Yeah, thank you guys for coming to the stream. I think there was at least one person here already. What's up, Coach Frederick? We're glad you're here. We're running just usually from now on. I'm gonna have to. I'm probably gonna let people sit for 5 or 10 minutes, maybe or so, because YouTube been jacking me around anyway, and it gives people a chance to get the late notification. I need everybody that when you go on, what the hell was that? Nobody knows you're going on. So you guys make sure you do that. And welcome to Pro Se Lawsuit Center. You guys know that when I roll from this location, okay, and tie looking good here. Yeah, one of my family members is, whatever. So that's all I can say on that. When I roll in this location, they like that, and they always ask me, neighbors, you got? I'm packing. I got my stuff. Okay, that's first thing that they want to ask, and then they're like, is that no, dude, I'm not gonna need more than that. I'm not leaving in this thing. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just gonna show you guys the thing before we get to talking and stuff, so that you can see what we're talking about over here. Oh, constitutional identity fraud and defamation. Now, for me, defamation came in other lawsuit that I put together against the clerk, the supervisor clerk Heather at Yavapai County Court in Sedona, or excuse me, Camp Verde, Arizona. Okay, so my client was standing there while they were telling me this stuff and making me write all this stuff on, you watch the videos, Okay, but I'm thinking, okay, how we can tweak that. Okay, because remember, around here we don't roll with limitations. So how can we tweak that professional defamation to fit your situation? Well, I'm thinking if you have a job or a business or neighbors or family or anybody that could find out or did find out about whatever situation you're sticking this in there, well, that would be considered professional because there's your job, your people at your work. You know. So see how this goes when if you do check down and you don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. Okay. Okay, so let's get everything lined up here. Okay, so this thing we'll put together here. Oh, yeah, it's pretty powerful. Okay, so did they harass you? Did they foreclose on you? Did they throw your shit out in the yard? Did they arrest you? Did they give you a ticket, traffic ticket, make you pay? Did they take your money? Did they do? Did they do? They arrested the corporate fiction, the fake identity created without your signature, and and a name spelled in all capital letters. You can look at your driver license, uh, all capital letters, and that was filed with the birth certificate owned by the state. Oh, from that moment forward, everything changed. You were reclassified as a U.S. citizen, not a living man or woman, but a corporate entity, subject to codes, statutes, and administrative courts. Think. I'm not that smart. The real-time feedback from all of the people in this group and what our family been through. Oh, have you been taxed, ticketed, foreclosed on, even arrested, hauled off to jail by the government that never had authority over you? Never had authority. The government never had authority over you. This isn't a conspiracy. This is commercial law. And now you can fight back. Bam. Uh-huh. Now you can fight back. Get released from corporate fiction. Introducing the get released lawsuit package. Okay, I can't read the whole thing together because I'm so excited. Introducing the a powerful court-ready legal bundle that restores your true status as one of the people, not a fiction. It removes you from the reach of their fake laws and exposes the fraud they've used to control your lives. This lawsuit package, this lawsuit includes, no, at first it just was, it was just, but those of you know how I roll, you can't have a whole lot of fun with just one stinking thing. Okay, so I like a bunch of punches. Bam. Bam. So this lawsuit at this point includes a lawsuit for due process violations and federal law violations. We use federal acts. Federal acts are federal laws. Look that shit up. They've been enacted. And we sue them for that, which is how we bring the criminal liability to the table. Uh-huh. Oh. Yeah, we'll talk a little more about that in a minute. Affidavit of status correction. Now, we're still kind of working out a couple of kinks here. One of the things that I think we need to do is we need to have something concrete from them other than the money that you're demanding to verify later. So we may add this later that you're demanding that they send you and all of the plaintiffs that you include on this document when you send it in. You're demanding that as damages that they send you all your passport cards to verify your diplomatic immunity. Bam! Oh, I know. People say, oh, they ain't going to do that. They ain't going to. You know what? People told me the same shit when I started helping people, Now, in the beginning with the foreclosure stuff, it was kind of tough, but that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. If you do the shit right now, and do the shit the right way according to the updated instructional videos, or the coaching that I tell you, if you invest in a premium package, then we do one-on-one with the coaching. And then people take my coaching over there and start going off of what they watched in the video that was from last year. Oh, okay. So, David Davis, like, okay, so everyone always says, oh, they're just going to ignore me. You know what? This is not my first rodeo. So we got the emergency habeas corpus petition in there to force them to rule on what you filed up there. Oh, I like the way my brain works when it's on fire. Rolling without drama, brain on fire. Demand for emergency hearing. Yeah, there's that in there too. You're demanding for emergency hearing. And what I don't have in here is the temporary restraining order. Actually, I do have it in the package, but I don't have it showing here. It's a temporary restraining order and injunction. Oh, yeah, it's fire. And then we demand for the emergency hearing. That's how I knew that was missing. And then we have, okay, so we add a statement of constitutional emergency. Okay, the statement of constitutional emergency is bad ass. And you can add that to your stuff to get around. And I say this directly speaking, we only have a couple of people using it, but from what we've studied and what we're doing, that I'm going to say, you can use it to get around all of their crap, a lot of their crap. Okay, well, if you file my stuff, then you don't have to worry about getting around nothing. But the point here, you have to get around their stalling. The point here is that the statement of constitutional emergency forces the court to move the case up to the higher court, and it forces the higher court to strip away the administrative BS that you've been dealing with down there. And they're only are able to rule on constitutional issues. You can't strip away the administrative BS if you're ruling on that BS. Oh yeah, this is fire. Then we provide the court orders, and we also provide a summons. Well, one summons, and then you can like print it off, and then print it off again for the other people. Or you can get the summons from the thing. So we provide all of that in the package. This package, and keep in mind that around here, we don't roll with limitations, okay? So I just listed a few of the demands that we're about to go over that I got on the table. And you might have your own that you need to add to. I can't imagine that you're not using all of these. But you may come out with a couple of your own, and that's cool. And if you do, I'd like to know what they are, really, because we might want to make sure everybody else is using them too. Oh, back to the real-time feedback. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you're demanding, number one, to turn on your property and your gun rights. This document was structured to get people out of jail, but I don't want to focus on that at the beginning. In the end, we'll mention that, and if you think about how this all works, then or whatever. Okay, but I like to think of it in the general sense of protecting your family. Okay, you got teenage kids that are going to be driving. If those kids are, used to be, they're black, but let's just keep it real. Right now, if they're Mexican, they have a higher chance of getting harassed. I was watching a show, And they were saying, well, you don't listen to Mexican music really loud, even if you are an American here, because you could get, okay, so, oh, this gets around a lot of stuff. Okay, so the return of your property rights and your gun rights, that usually happens if you get jammed up in federal court with statutes and codes that aren't valid laws. Erase the criminal records, release from jail or prison, dismissal of foreclosure case against the property, dismissal of any property tax cases against the property, delivery of the property deed as mandated by, we should probably have that one first. We have to move that one. Okay, sorry. Okay, then you want to demand the property information be removed from all the databases, including the Register of Deed Association and the Land Bank. And what the hell is a land bank? Go check that shit out, okay? And then, I would demand the passport for all of the people, the members that you have included in action for showing they have diplomatic immunity so they can't be harassed again. And then you have your over $2 million for damage for false arrest and false identity. I know I had a person say, well, I wasn't arrested. You was. If they drag your ass in the court to stand in for it, you was arrested, and they made you go to court, and a lot of y'all went to jail. I ain't never been convicted of anything, and when you throw that on the table, you need to make sure you also throw in there that you didn't take the deal. Okay, but more than that, it protects your entire family from being governed by fake statutes ever again. Statutes and codes are non-valid laws. No, I don't have people using this. I just put this together from all of the real-time feedback and what's in my head and what I know, and some of the stuff in the affidavit of denial of state citizenship obviously came from a non-bar attorney friend that, but this other stuff we put together just kind of flowed from the fact that we're not. I always talk about starting at the gate. I thought it was. I think we are now. Protect your entire family. No more traffic tickets. No more foreclosure BS. No more forced compliance. No more state power over your kids. I don't do family stuff, and I whatever. But there you go. All of that is no more pretending you're a corporate U.S. citizen. Nobody can be a U.S. citizen because nobody can be born in a fake corporation. There, I said it. They hate it when I throw that on the table. Normally, this package, well, actually, with the stuff in this package, and I updated it. So you got the lawsuit for constitutional identity fraud and defamation, the temporary restraining order, preliminary injunction. Then you got emergency demand for a hearing. And then I included a supplemental pleading that we use. And this was, we was adding the judge and the judge to the thing. They didn't like that. But this supplemental pleading is set up to add the Supreme Court to the action if they want to play. Okay, you can add the Supreme Court because the local rules that they're trying to make you follow came from the Supreme Court. Look that shit up. So that's how we're, and then we provide the summons, like I said. So the list I have on here changed after I got a little more work. So this program, this is the same. It should be the same price with the habeas corpus in it as the writ of mandamus, but it's not. I got it. It's at $3,000. I got it half price at $1,500 right now. It's the same price of the premium packages that people are investing in. I want to have it so people can afford to get it, and I can get some. I can get some video reviews on it. I need one after you read it. I need one after you go file it, and then if you can do another one later, that's great. Usually that don't work out like that. Usually it don't work out like that. So ask yourselves, if they can create a false version of you and punish you with that false version without limits, what are you waiting for? Take back your name. Take back their name they made for you. File this, serve it, and get released from their corporate control. You know, now don't call me and ask me how many wins and how many whatever, because I'm just gonna hang up on your ass if you call and ask me that shit. I'm just saying. Okay, because what we're doing right here is done from the research and the real-time feedback from a lot of people, and from the real-time feedback from scan off of our ass. And I say our, I'm talking about my family that went through this. Dear Dawn, thank you for joining the show tonight. And you know, I have people telling me, "Oh, I'm a sovereign citizen. I did this. I feel like this paperwork. I did whatever." And none of that. They don't respect none of that. So what we have been doing is filling out the passport card like Yusuf had it set up to do, where you're making sure you're not showing that your family are U.S. citizens, that you work in the U.S., you do business or whatever, because nobody does. And so when you fill that out and you get your passport card, it comes with 5 stars. I have one. That's what we use. But you know what? That's just for the cops harassing you on the street and shit like that. That's really the reason why we put that in there, because people were jamming their ass up with the foreclosure shit, and then they was having the sheriff or the police or whatever follow them, harass them or whatever. So we started doing that. But now, after going over all of that paperwork and putting that stuff together, you got to thinking, well, this is cool when you work for people that you care about. When you work for people that you care about, well, and you already don't roll with limitations, then you come up with some shit. So this is what we came up with right now. And, you know, you can see on here. Okay, so the complaints for constitutional identity fraud and defamation, false arrest. Now, some people that arrested you, they didn't. When they made you go to court for this other whatever they created, then that was an arrest to me. And they made you stay in court. You couldn't just leave when you want to. So, you know, people look at things and they start doing a check down automatically. Okay. At the top, we started out with constitutional identity theft and defamation. Are you with me? My point is, None of the rest of the shit after that matters. None of the rest of the shit after that matters. But let's work it. If they made me go to court and made me do some shit, I was under arrest. I didn't want to do that shit. Who the hell wants you to do that shit? I was scared to death. I'm still scared. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Constitutional identity fraud and defamation. False arrest, false imprisonment. Violation of due process. U.S. Constitutional Amendment 5 and 16. Violation of civil rights, 42 U.S. C 19. Violation of the Administrative Procedures Act of 1946. That's a federal law right there. Well, all of them are whatever, but this is a federal law. It's act. Federal act. In violation of the Tucker's Act. We talked about that at the top of the and the only thing that's missing from here is conspiracy. Come to think about it. I like to have a conspiracy in there because, well, I don't have to worry about this. It's all set up. But generally, in my head, I always have the conspiracy in there because it makes it a whole lot less complicated for them to try and say, you didn't state a claim. Well, we do take it to federal court, man, but we have to stop the state court process first. If there's a state court process, you got to stop it first. Otherwise, the state court's on the phone with them fools, lying to them and tell them, well, that they have jurisdiction and control or whatever. And usually they do because people don't understand. Okay, so what we do is we stop the state court process. Now, if you invest in any of my stuff, anything you file in state court will crush them, okay, because we use federal case law and federal acts, and those fools in state court cannot respond to what we're doing. They cannot respond to what we're doing with statutes and codes. They can't. They cannot respond. And if they could, they still have a problem because they don't have a federal bar card. Yeah, I was going to say a license. No, nobody has a license. They don't have a federal bar card. We got one. Got one on the website. I think it's $75. So if they don't have a federal bar card, they also can't respond to federal case law and federal acts. Even if they moved it to federal court, their asses still can't respond because they don't have a federal bar card. You got one. You went and got it, right? Y'all need to get your bar card. $75. I would have two of them made. Okay. Yeah, that's from my cousin Richard. He's crazy. His last name is Neighbors too. Oh, that makes him automatic. So the introduction to this is like you're bringing this under color of law and the United States Inc. And the Federal Corporation, see Section USC 3002, number 15, has constructed a parallel legal universe where the living person are reclassified as corporate assets. Oh, this is hot. And this is no clerical error. This is a systemic spiritual fraud and administrative trespass. The plaintiff revokes emergency jurisdiction, invokes emergency jurisdiction, and ends this fraud and secures immediate release from the unlawful consequences, included any imprisonment, fines, restrictions, impositions on property. There's financial corporate identity cost. Oh. And it says here the plaintiff brings action not as a U.S. citizen, but as a natural person, a state citizen recognized by God and the Constitution. And he denies being any part of the federal corporate system and has filed an affidavit of denial of corporate existence, affirming that he is a living soul, not a legal fiction, that he is not a citizen or a resident of any territory, that he never knowingly consented to be reclassified as a U.S. citizen, that he alleged in agreement, whatever, with the government agencies are void and fraud, coercion, and lack of full disclosure. That sounds like fraudulent concealment. Okay. Let's finish saying hi to everybody, and I need to get on that here. And yeah, we got the sync in there already, man. You know, and we got it structured right now, so there's no arguing. And and people always forget. Well, and with my stuff, there's no, because they're all getting sued. Okay, once you add their asses to their own shit in the counterclaim, okay, then they can't do nothing. I don't know. You know how they can't represent themselves. They can't. Oh, sorry, get my fingers mixed up. I'm looking at the camera. They can't represent themselves. They can't represent each other from the same corporation. They can't litigate a case they're a party to, so you make them party to the case. I don't know. Pretty simple. And then the friends can't help them because you're jamming their ass up with federal case law. Now, if you wanted to be an ass, then you could add the attorney's property to the lawsuit as damages, and then you can go to People Finder and you have to look up and see who owns the property, whatever. And then that person that's the signer on the property will have to be served a copy of the counterclaim. Yeah, I did that with my sister. I have a whole playlist with helping my sister, and that was several years back. And that's what we did. We added the attorney, and then they kept playing. So we did supplemental pleading, and we added the attorney's property until we had to serve his wife. And we also added the Kansas Bar Association. So no other. You guys see where I'm going with this. Just check their ass down with their own rules, with their own shit. Check their ass right down. And then they still wanted to play. So first I moved it to federal court. And then, okay, so then we filed a new lawsuit in federal court. But we left the attorney off. and we left his wife on there, and and so my sister, she was, you know, she was kind of shocked that we got the attorney off, and I told her that I felt a little bad for the attorney. Okay, I did, because when the attorney gets home, his wife is still on the lawsuit in federal court, and now she's going to hire a federal attorney. Oh, wait, there ain't no way she's going to find one to go up against what we're bringing to the table over here. They're not. It ain't going to happen, because they were taking way too much time to even go look up this real shit. I'm just saying. Oh, and so she had a problem, and you know, I know he got his ass kicked every time he got home. So we just left him off for a while. It was a lot. It was fun. You got, you know, okay, this is when you roll without fear or limitations. Okay, you can have fear, but does your fear have value? Is your fear helping you? Is your fear a liability? Most people's fear becomes a liability because they allow it to scramble up their head, and and then now they can't really make the determinations they need to make to figure out what they need to do, because you're not going to do what you're taught. What you're taught is not going to help you, because everything that you're taught was taught to you by the same attorneys or attorney people or friends of their attorneys. Okay, that's throwing you under the bus right now. And so that's what I tell people. All of the stuff that you thought you knew, for most people, you have to chunk it out. Leave it at the curb. Because when you do that, you're taking the stuff from their conventional, in their conventional system, and none of that should work from you. None of the conventional shit's going to work for you, because they control it. So you got to go in and, you know, start chopping their ass down like they did in the hood. My chat should be full, so nobody wanted to be free. No, wait. Well, I'm kind of enjoying them leaving me alone when they pull me over, so they still. Oh, they leave me alone when they pull me over. Okay, yeah, I got the website going across the bottom of the screen there, and oh, you know, I want to, before we leave, I want to take you guys over real quick. I want to do screen share. Bam! So I can show you guys this puppy dog right here. And, you know, I put the whole family on there because, you know, the whole family needs to be. So you can scroll down. This is the description that we put together. And this is the longer description. And then these are some of the other things that you can demand. And, you know, there might be something else that you need to add to this. That's kind of set up for just in general removing yourself from the statutory jurisdiction, but it's also tailored exactly to get people out of jail. And I wanted this first one to focus on this so people can understand it's for your family. Now, you just need to invest one time. You always want to copy and paste the information from the document into your own Word before you personalize it and save the file clean. And then that way you can use the file over and over. You can have family members going with you and invest in this together and all. It don't have to be. I mean, we don't have limitations. So you can just read that. You don't have a driving license. They can't give you a hard time. You don't owe income taxes. Oh, you don't owe property taxes. You don't need to obey the victimless statutes unless there's you can pull your children out of the state system. You can pull your kids out of the state system. You can remove yourself from foreclosure code enforcement, administrative abuse. Erase your criminal history. Yeah. You can sue for damages under federal law. And so this is what you get in this. I'd like to have the lawsuit be at the top, but it didn't arrange like that again. So yeah. So you guys can go over. The website's looking pretty good. Humera is my website partner. She handles all of that stuff. And these are some of the other packages that we have available. This package is pretty popular. This property tax package has the property tax lawsuit in it, and it has the 42 USC foreclosure offense lawsuit. And then it has these other documents in there. Like I said, and then this was the legal malpractice document if you had an attorney that threw you under the bus. And then the demand to strike just strikes. You can just strike the judge's ruling, strike the attorney's notice of appearance. You can just strike. I like to make sure that when people use my stuff, they're having fun, because that's my guarantee. My guarantee is that you're gonna learn how to have fun. That's my guarantee. Thank you, T.I. Don. It's on the website and also through the bar card in there. So if you get the package, you get your own bar card. The rest of y'all need to get your bar card. Get over to the website, winningcourtnow.com, and get your bar card. Okay, I'm going to check out of here and keep this under an hour. You guys, thank you for the value of sharing your time. And I think this package is going to be pretty badass. It's going to be might be the last one that we need. Now get rid of all that other stuff we have. All right. Later, guys.